What's up, MD? This is the Boston, Mass. IFBB Pro, Jose Raymond. I'm currently 7 weeks out from the 202 Olympia, and I'm going to train some legs today, and try to get these legs even freakier than they were last year. And I know I can make them harder and more deeply etched than I've shown previously, and that's the goal.
One thing you did, from the advice for a couple people, was to skip any shows that were between the New York Pro and the Olympia. So tell me about that decision and why you think it's a good move.
The advice that I got to skip any other shows after New York is a very good idea, because one, I'm not pounding my body to lose weight, sucking down to 202. I would have had to try to make weight again before the showdown, and it's just too much. I struggled in New York to make weight. I had maybe 6 ounces of food in 24 hours prior to weigh-in, and I weighed in just about at 202. I was 201.6 or something. And it's just too much on my body to keep trying to make weight. If the weight wasn't an issue, then maybe I could have done a show. But you know what it's like to be contest ready, and to be honest with you, peaking for a show is very difficult to do once, never mind multiple times a year. And you're seeing that now, as there are guys that were unbelievable at the Arnold Classic in Australia and the British Grand Prix, things like that, and competed this weekend at Hartford and were placing out of the money when that shouldn't even be the case. So I didn't want to risk that happening, and I think the best thing for me was to put all my focus on the Olympia. That is the #1 show in the world. That is my ultimate goal. So there's no reason to focus on anything else but that.
You're training legs today. Legs have always been a strong point of yours. Have you been holding off on letting them really grow as well as they could have, and are you now taking off the safety? What do you call it?
Taking off the gloves?
Yeah, there you go.
No, I'm not. I have never purposely held back on training legs. I don't believe in that. I've always believed if you have a strong body part, to train the hell out of it. If you have a strong body part, make it better. That's not to say I'm not trying to bring up my weaknesses as well, but this is a sport of freaks, man, and if you have a freaky body part, then God bless you.
You want to explain why you're using the Smith machine before you get in trouble with all the hardcore guys out there?
One reason is this crazy guy over here. He comes in and he will literally be on the squat rack for 2 to 3 hours. So we can't get to it. He always seems to be here when I need to squat.
So he calls the gym to find out when you're going to be squatting?
So I'm going to come over here, do Smith squats, and do them more like a sumo style, target my glutes a little more.
Yeah.
So my glutes will be ripping and roaring, ready to go for the Olympia, and put an assault on Flex Lewis again.
Right on. I
don't believe in holding back, and if you got great genetic muscle, it's gonna grow just by breathing. So I love to train legs. I love to push myself. I love the feeling of nausea I get. I love everything about it. I also use it as like a cardio. I'm panting and breathing and sweating like crazy the whole workout. So it's like another cardio session to me. It helps me to burn body fat, and the only time I've ever kind of backed off on legs is due to injury, and right now I feel great. I've got to be careful with some tweaks in the knees and things like that, but other than that, I go all out.
Tell me about the warm-up process for legs and how you take your time and don't jump into anything heavy.
Anytime I train legs, I've been training 25 years now, and things get sore. And I also think the more muscle you have, the more you've built through the years, the longer it takes to warm those muscles up. So I always start with extensions. I always do. Today we did 4 to 7 sets. And then oftentimes I'll end with a drop set of 3 or 4 sets. So I do that, and I do that with every body part really, but legs in particular, because there's so much that goes into doing legs. You know, I could never just jump in and start squatting. I'd be in agony, and it just wouldn't work out. But I think for safety purposes and you know, getting the blood pumping and getting my legs prepared to go and do a heavy compound movement, it's necessary for me to do a bunch of extension warm-up sets. Well, today you'll notice I did Smith machine squats, which, you know, all you hardcore guys out there on the boards, I don't care if it's Smith machine or regular barbell squats. I personally like barbell squats better because it's a freer motion, it's more comfortable, but it's not any less effective or anything like that. I'm a 4-time Mr. Olympia, Jay Cutler, uses Smith machine squats pretty regularly. He's got some of the best legs in history, so, you know, go figure. We had to use the Smith machine, which I actually enjoyed doing. We were able to do some different things. I did a wider stance, more of a sumo squat to focus more on the glutes, and it was a fun little change up.
I noticed a couple times you were talking about your knee was giving you a little trouble. What's going on with your knee, and how are you making your training around it so it's not an issue?
Well, my knee has been an issue my whole life since I was like 18 years old. I've always had just a little. Started with chondromalacia, a little wearing of the kneecap, but I rehabbed that and it was great. It's just, you know, nothing major, little aches and pains. I've always had it, so I just make sure to, you know, warm it up. And I do 2 cardio sessions on the stairs a day. I do, you know, legs twice a week. I'm doing lunges and everything else. They better be sore. I ain't doing something right, you know. But it's nothing major. It's not going to hold me back. It's, if anything, it's making me better because I have more concentrated effort and a lot more focus on the muscles to try to move weight, you know, without pain. You know, I'm not jerking things around. I'm actually really controlling the movements and being careful what I'm doing.
Anybody that's had any kind of knee issues usually stays away from hack squats, but you're still doing hacks. You're still going pretty heavy on them. How does that make sense?
Well, you know, I have a different mode of thinking than a lot of people. I think a lot of people use pain as an excuse. You know, pain is it's going to be there. If you train long enough, you're going to feel it. What, are you going to stop training because you got a little bit of pain? No, you work through it. You find ways to work around it, and hack squats are no different than anything else. You know, you got to do them. They're important for leg development and the quad, the teardrop, and you know, once I'm warm, I can do it. I always feel a little bit of that pain, and I gotta, you know, work around it. But you know, I have a goal. I have a job to do, and a little bit of pain isn't going to stop me. I mean, I'm in pain every day. My shoulders. I wake up 5 times a night in pain in my shoulders. My life isn't going to be that much fun in the future when pain gets even worse. But I love bodybuilding. This is my #1 passion in the world. And you know, this pain is a beautiful pain if I'm winning.
Yeah, I've seen you do some of your best leg workouts very close to a contest, and that's kind of the opposite of most guys. Most guys, as they get close to a show, they're weak, they're tired, they don't even want to train legs. But where do you find the motivation, the energy to come out with these ball-busting leg workouts when you're 2 or 3 weeks out from a show, like I've seen you do?
Well, you know, some of my best workouts come right up, you know, within a few weeks of a show, and it's always been the case because oftentimes, you know, people are 8 weeks out, 10 weeks out, 7 weeks out, and they think they can get away with missing a meal or you know, having a cheat, this and that. You know, well, by the time I'm 5 weeks out, everything is on point, like so perfect. I do not miss a meal. I do not miss sleep. I do not miss cardio. nothing. So I'm like a finely tuned machine. Everything is 100%. So it only makes sense that I should have my best workouts. You know, I'm not out late. I will shut the TV off and just, no matter what, get my sleep, get my rest, get my meals. So I'm in a better position to have perfect workouts than I am, you know, months out and, you know, maybe staying up later than I should or missing meals, things like that. No way. When you're closer to a show, things should be perfect. And you know, you still have the same amount of muscle as you did at 220, but you're closer to 202. It's still the same muscle. Those muscles should be firing the same way they were. And sometimes your body's a little more comfortable working that way when you're in better condition. So I think it's all excuse bullshit when people don't have good workouts leading up to a show. Being a little bit tired or carb depleted is no excuse not to go bust your ass.